In the eye of infinity, beauty within scorn rose to power. An ancient symbol of archival fell from grace, the iris, collapsing its primordial abode, scorching past through many dying stars, through the realm of Hithafol, light years away, and bursting through the shadows of space from its abode. It set course to plummet on a doomed planetary system, the depths, created to be destroyed, trialed against their bubble of infinity. Its star, the great beyond, has died, and the vast barren plains were set to sink into the hollow void of space, clutched by an ominous overseer of this desolate coffin, a charcoal prince with ruby rings and scorching red eyes, tears trickling down to his fingers, beholds the now descended emblem. It recorded pasts and presents to become infinity's resource for the becoming untouched. Blasting across the blackness of infinity reigns two vigilantes from the same birthplace of the Iris, Father Tyrant and Lady Fate, both making conquest with the help of many lost and tortured souls walking these grounds. The Collapse, standing 25 feet tall, jagged and morbid darkness shrouds their nervous systems, seemingly born from their realm on the other side, Yondrathal. Atop the mountain, Tyrant and Fate climbed before meeting face to face with the Charcoal Prince himself, Vysen Pavavore, surrounded by several distinguishable collapses sporting protective armory. A brave fight was fought. The blood lay waste to the castle walls, and there lay the bitter and punished prince. Before he is banished to the nothingness known as the Damned, a lightless and blank stare through Vegala's bubble, Vysen heeds a warning of beast rising once again, feeding off the light that will soon be reborn. He is henceforth denied his ground and thrown away to the Damned, not to be heard of again. Tyrant made a solemn vow to restore the great beyond, harness the Iris's full potential, and protect the depths from further peril. Centuries pass, societies were born, and 1,000 years of peace befell. The Collapsed would soon become the Onyx Colony, sported with armor and weaponry forged from Purgaprime Castle, and harnessing arcane-like power. They are sent to the borderline to draw energy from their beloved star, which in turn was harnessed to control their next hosts on the other side of Hithafol's realm, on their connected planet called Nadoria. But 1,000 years later, the foreboded myth became a reality. Dark matter of sentience swooped from the rip in space. Paradigm worms came to suck the life dry from the depths to grow stronger, become many beasts in unison before becoming its ultimate form, the Motho Hive. An abomination colonized of these paradigm worms in their fullest form, it became an unfathomable threat to all. Tyrant and Fate escorted several Onyx Colony soldiers accompanied by their elites to battle this new threat to their world. Many were hoarded off from the Bipolesian, Anxosax, and Claustronoctus to be met with the dreaded Grief Worm before coming face to face with the dominant Titan swarming these soldiers of war. It was simply too powerful, undefeatable. The Motho Hive thwarts the army with might and tenacity. Alas, they had fallen. They were banished to the Damned, where the all-too-familiar Charcoal Prince would once again find themselves alongside Tyrant. It seemed the myth was true, and all, especially the Damned, were terrified. A deal was made to revive the army in hopes of combating this unholy monstrosity again. But a condition was made. When the mightiest falls, Tyrant and Fate's firstborn, is to be banished to the damned immediately, with no compromise. Fates were sealed, and hands were shaken. The talisman bestowed to Tyrant reignites the flame inside our now risen army, prepared to fight again. The Motho Hive shows no mercy as it slashes their king and queen, drawing blood. Fatal wounds were drawn, but what became of this was to make the grandest legend in tale. The fusion of Vegalian blood with dark matter created surrogacy for an egg that would be hatched, landing atop the crimson mountains they walked upon. The Motho Hive was weakened, and the soldiers gathered the remains to be locked away in a stronghold prison called the Encrypt. The egg was taken by Tyrant and Fate as they wait for it to hatch. And so, this journey's behemoth legend ascended from the egg. It was written, the Goliath was born, an amalgamation of Vegalian anatomy forged by skin of dark matter, beholding the strongest bone structure known to mankind. Goliath spent the rest of his years finding his place, being taught melee combat, growing his strength until he became too much for the colony. He simply could not fit in with a kind that differed from his own. Perceived as a monster. 1,000 years pass since his birth, and the depths once again reaches the edge of their galaxy's entire bubble. A wormhole opened from the damned, reining in dozens of gargoyle spirits in all shapes and sizes, sworn to proclaim all with their first invasion. The Havoc Soldiers descended down on the depths to swallow it whole and destroy every living spirit. They, however, were no match for their greatest hero, Goliath, who fought valiantly against all odds, banishing the Havoc Soldiers back to where they came from. They did not come without sacrifice, and a graveyard was erected to honor the fallen. Their spirits still have so much trapped. They could not make it past their land without a fulfilled purpose. Goliath stands to mourn for the fallen soldiers. Approaching from behind, Father Tyrant walks towards his firstborn with a dire purpose for him: to keep guard of the Encrypt for an eternity, and to protect the land from anything ever emerging from the gargantuan tomb. This does not best please Goliath, as this will mean he may never properly have a connection with his family ever again. Goliath pleads for reason, his pleas falling on deaf ears as he is warned there is much more to learn about the struggle that befell this world. Tyrant harnessed the power of the Iris's all-knowing archival, strikes his hand down on Goliath's head, and sends him through a journey of memories untold. This is the story of those memories. creation of infinity started with a monstrous bang. Behold, Vagala Infinity. A rip flushed through the fabrics of space so large it forged two realms, Hitherfol and Yondrathal. The center of it all, born deities among gods, Hithistras, Yondrathadicus, and Wonderamite. Hither and yonder, be ready for wonder. For millions of years, the deities of Vagala Infinity created planets among their systems, watching them die and learn from their graves, witnessing societies clash, digital races devolving, and nature crumbling. There stood tall in their hospice a grand spectacle of archival called the Iris, forged from the remnants of Vagalian aftershock and the spirit of all deities. It sealed every planet's past and present, bolstering a brighter and longer future for each system. Beyond their bubble were horrors beyond comprehension, looking to make connection with Vagala Infinity. It is this secret they must bear for themselves, to be kept from their people forever. Among the Vagalian citizens, there were specially chosen gods to oversee the new planet's awakening. The messengers of Vagala must rule over their new system's realm until the day it dies. They weren't there to protect and save worlds. They were there to merely watch its example. The deities created Vagala Zero, a smaller, singular planetary system connected to a star at the very edge of their infinity. What happens when the world is close to the bubble of infinity? Does it die to the shadow that would encompass it, or become resilient against it? No answer was clear until finding out. Yondarth Atticus called upon its colony for a chosen god to oversee the depth's turmoil. As many held their hands high, one stood tall. It was the charcoal prince himself, Vysen Pavavori. They geared his arsenal and whisked him away to Vagala Zero on his mission, not to be seen until the task is done. Disbelief filled the air at what a dangerous existence this was, of which one stood against the deities. One long-haired, bearded, bold, and well-kept Father Tyrant rose to his feet and dared to question Yondarth Atticus and the deities alongside their stead. This angered the Almighty, and swiftly cast Tyrant away to confinement, trapped inside a bolted and rotten cage to live his days until his punishment was complete. Claustrophobic, carnal, and a burdening reminder of the cries for help he wept for. Numb and pale, he would almost be lifted with offerings of help, but alas, was tormented throughout the peril and suffering. His hope numbing forever, all for daring to ponder if he will ever escape this horrific confinement. For once, time did not seem to heal wounds. It only created them.
They're gone. Our operations have henceforth commenced. We've hit on a groundbreaking revolution here. Make no mistake, Rotom Corp is onto something special.
Whereas construction of the Colosseum is complete, it has bled through our budget. After crunching the numbers, we've overspent of our projected budget.
I'm sure this was accounted for in the grand scheme, given where the funding came from in the first place.
Also considering the independent funds we had already. We have our leader to thank for that.
Crackpots, I'm telling you, always had a few tricks up their sleeve.
That being said, a matter of urgency has arisen. We've accumulated a spike in retention. There are eyes watching us. Perhaps too many.
Is that really an issue? Explain. I thought that's what we wanted.
Of course. But this does not mean we neglect the elephant in the room.
Indeed.
That being the new potential threat that watches us and is keeping guard.
Ah, them. I've never seen them as threats, more allies.
By all means, the Great Decline couldn't have come any sooner, and we have Mercy Rosella to thank for that.
Her bravery, it's unmatched. It has been paramount to our cause.
But with it came the eyes of those that will either leash off our fortunes or seek to shut us down.
Considering how many influencers were out there wanting their piece of the pie.
They're on the chopping board, correct? Just as we discussed?
Correct. They'll find themselves at an impasse.
Our advocates need reminding what true salvation feels like. These will be our playmates that provide such a thing.
I don't hold any objections. But hey, I could be talking out of my ass on a bias.
Providing, of course, they aren't working for the government.
Those fucking imperialists. They'll have spies among the ranks. They can make my pocket on that.
On the subject of imperialism, we still have the matter of that religious cult. They already have enough hands in helping with our technology. We can't allow them to gather too much power.
Who knows what unimaginable horrors they could wreak? An awful rationalization. One that we already know the answer to all too well. Well, to clear our consciences and settle all our fears, we've been presented with a proposal. It's quite simple, really. Border patrol for Nostrador. Citizens will be subject to an interview before they enter. This will decide their fates. Are you an advocate for our cause? An influencer cultivated to fulfill your people's desires? A parasite to be stripped of their humanity? Or will you turn out to be an unprecedented anomaly to be taken in for further investigation? Our duty's with the people who've been wronged. It's time to know who's truly a comrade and who's lying through their teeth.
A very well thought out proposal indeed. I believe I speak for all of us that we are in favor.
Agreed. But I hold one reservation. Do you think this will work?
Well, given who governs the current empire, I'm certain this concern has not gone unnoticed and been given a great consideration. It's gonna be tough. But I think the mad bastard might have just pulled this off. Only time will reveal the results.
Won't you be my boss? Locked in the game, somebody help with this race. Instead of poking me with your knives and your broken life. Give it up on the job, I'm on it up to the shores. I didn't get my SOS. Get my SOS. Alive, so just another disguise to hide behind your jaded cadence. I'm so impatient, like the rules would reveal that you didn't seal the deal. Didn't get my SOS. In this mess, I came to life. I came to life. Won't you be my SOS? Oh, yes, please bring me alive. I came to life. Won't you be my SOS? Oh, yes, please bring me alive. Breaking your borders, we're bang, so you end up with a finger in the sky. So fucking lie.
Subject, I hope you're seated comfortably. I'm sure you have many questions to ask us. My name is Xavier Rotom. I will be your quizzer today. I apologize if you thought it would be easy as entering onto this island and living in harmony. But we run a tight security frame around this island. Let's fill you in, shall we? You've come from Valamos, your own country, in hopes to join our island of Nostrador and retreat from a home that became corrupted by your government. You seek salvation in this place to fulfill yourself in a thriving community of like-minded individuals. While we're happy to see how eager you are, you must understand we can't trust everyone in a heartbeat. You're here to be assessed of your role in our newly growing society on this new island as a precautionary measure to make sure you know your place, as we will soon. It's short and simple. 5 questions will be presented, and you will answer them as quickly and as honestly as possible. We trust you're seated comfortably. Now, are you ready, subject?